Hello, everyone, and welcome to E3 with John Guns. It is the holiday season, but more importantly than the holiday season, and I know you're saying, what could be more important than the holiday season? Here it is. More importantly than the holiday season is the beginning of a new year. Now, I do understand that most of us have got to a place and a point where the new year and New Year's resolutions, it ain't happening. Many of us have had New Year's resolutions every new year, and seemingly things have not changed. New Year resolutions mean nothing if you're not willing to make sacrifices. So, what I want to do today is I want to talk about how to make not the new year better, how to shift seasons. Okay, I want to talk about how to shift seasons. Now, last week, I was dealing with some things, and I just felt this burden to want to dig deeper into this whole idea of shifting seasons. So here's the thing that's so powerful. You ready? Every person that's going to ever win in life is going to do so because they make decisions that they're going to be very assertive in terms of certain aspects of their life. I want you to write down two things right now. I want you to put them in the thread. I want you to write down two things right now. Here's the first thing I want you to write down. I want you to write down, you ready? There can be no shift in your life. This is the thing I want you to write down. Without intentional reconstruction. There can be no shift in your life. Write this down. Without intentional reconstruction. What does that mean? It means that when I look at my life, I make decisions with purpose that I'm going to make some changes based upon a renewed vision that I have for my life. That's the first thing. Intentional reconstruction. But here's the second thing. Shifting seasons happen because I shift perspective. Okay, so put shift perspective. Intentional reconstruction connected or tied to the shifting of perspective. All of a sudden, I see things differently. I look at things differently. Like I'll give you a perfect example. Every day when I'm in Richmond, I am faced with something I don't know, right? Every day since I've been the dean, I've been faced with something I don't know, or something I wasn't fully aware of, or something that I wasn't prepared for. Someone asked me today a very powerful question. If you know now what you knew, if you know now what you knew then, would you still have said yes to becoming dean? And I said yes, I would have. Now, there have been some times when I've been really, I felt really in over my head, right? And there will probably be other moments like that. But here was the thing that was so powerful for me. You ready? Here's the thing that was so powerful for me. And I want to be able to help you with a major revelation. I stopped seeing that as a negative, and I started seeing it as a growth possibility. You see that? I stopped seeing this being over my head as a negative. I started seeing it as a growth possibility. And so a lot of times when I'm in meetings and I'm learning higher ed, and I'm learning not just higher ed, I'm learning the uniqueness and particularity of Virginia Union University under the leadership of Dr. Hakeem Lucas. I'm learning some things that I never thought I would ever learn or need to learn. I never even thought there was it was out there to learn, right? But what has begun to happen is I've shifted perspective. There was a moment I was like, oh, this is too much, and I'm in over my head, and da. And I begin to shift perspective. Here's where the shifting of perspective occurs. Is when you stop looking at negatives in a way that the negative remains a negative and you don't find a positive in it. Wow. Did you get that? When you stop looking at a negative in a way that the negative now becomes a positive, embedded in what is perceived as a negative is a positive. And so what you do is you go literally inside and you pull out the positive that's in it, right? Okay, I'll show you this again, right? There is there is something in my hand, right? And so I go in and I find the positive thing in it. I find the positive, right? I find the positive thing. And I find a way to take advantage of this thing that's now positive for me. I can use this for something. Watch this. For far too many of us, here's the mistake we're making. We only confirm that is negative, and then we protect the negativity of it. We confirm that is negative, and then we protect the negativity. And then what we look around and we discover is that, wow, I'm in over my head. Wow, this is challenging me. Wow, this is intense. Wow, this is different from what I expected. And then we sit there in the negative and we absorb it and we become a prisoner to it. And then we look up and no growth, but resolution, right? Resignation, emotional trauma, all these negative things occur because I didn't shift perspective. I didn't say, whoa, this is actually growing me. So now for me, I'm growing. I'm learning things that other pastors aren't learning. And now I can take some of those things that I'm learning and I can apply it to my pastorate. I can apply it to the nonprofit. I can apply it to my personal life. Things I'm learning here, I can apply. And I wouldn't have had that experience if I had not shifted perspective. Intentional reconstruction and the shifting of perspective. There is going to be no change in your life until you shift perspective. So the question becomes, how do you shift perspective? 3 things, and probably more than that, but let me throw out a couple. The first way you shift perspective is that you read what redefines how you see something. You read. So a part of what you start doing is you start reading stuff that helps to reconstruct your perspective, helps to shift your perspective, right? So that you can now reconstruct your life. So if I want to be better at something, I want to challenge you to read. Yes, read. Read something that shifts your perspective. Read something that gives you a different view and an approach to how you're going to manage life. Read. It's not going to kill you to buy a book or to buy different kinds of books and say, okay, I want to change the way I think about something. And so I want to change what I'm reading. Now, always read the Bible. But even in the Bible, open yourself up to different kinds of books and passages in the Bible that will stretch you, that will cause you to raise questions, that would even cause you to be critical of the Bible. Right, and I'm not talking about critical like I don't believe it, but critical like, okay, wow, why did Peter do that? Wow, what was Jesus's purpose in saying that? It opens up your mind, right? You believe the word, but you want to grow from it. And so shifting perspective is about reading. Read what will change your perspective. Here's the second thing. Have conversations or engage in conversations with people who will change your perspective. You can't always talk to people who think like you. Sometimes you got to talk to people who will force you to think differently. I'll give you an absolutely amazing thing. And because I love growing and learning, one of the things that I've done is that Dr. Paul Flowers is my interim assistant dean, and so Paul has a very discerning heart for me. Okay, I need you to hear this. He has a discerning heart for me. So I've said to Paul, you have permission that if it ever looks like I'm drifting into a negative space, you have permission to check my space. So if I'm in a meeting and my face is starting to say something, Paula sent me a text. Dean, check your face, right? And we laugh about it now. But the thing that he does for me is that relationship is causing me to be more disciplined. That's what I love about my marriage. One thing I love about my marriage is that my wife is a part of the disciplining, of the shaping of my level of discipline in this season. So whenever I'm dealing with certain things, she will say, but remember, you got to do this. Or remember, you got to handle this. Or have you thought about this? Who's your circle when you're shifting perspective? Who are you listening to? Like right now, some of you have made a commitment that every week you're going to listen to me. And I'm a part of shaping your perspective. Right? I'm a part of shaping your perspective. I'm a part of that. I'm a part of shaping your perspective. I'm a part of shifting your perspective. I'm a part of your process of intentional reconstruction. I'm a part of that. Some of you have made that decision, believe it or not. So every Monday, you are perching yourself, positioning yourself in front of your screen at 6 o'clock because you believe I can help you shift your perspective. You got to make decisions on who's going to be in your space to help you shift perspective. Listen, there is no changing of practice until there's a shifting of perspective. Make sure you write that down. Shifting of perspective sets up the changing of practice. And something extraordinary happens when all of a sudden you start to change perspective because you are open to the people in your space. So let me say a couple other things that's very important. Once you understand this, you got to be willing to go deeper. And I got a couple more minutes because I'm only going to do about 15 to 17 today. I got a couple more minutes. And so I want you to write down some important things. Here's the first thing is don't be afraid of being challenged. Don't be afraid of being challenged. One of the most amazing things I learned as a child and a teenager in playing sports was that I never had coaches who were huggy, warm and feeling. My coaches were in your face. Woo, thank you, Lord. My coaches were in your face, right? My coaches didn't play. They were in your face, right? They were in your face. And so, and sometimes because I was a little too sensitive as when I was younger, and I've tried to grow out of it because I was too sensitive when I was younger. There were times I would get my feelings hurt because the coach would challenge me. And so one day I came home and I told my wife I was a pretty good athlete. And, when I was younger, I played baseball. I was pretty good. I was actually very good at baseball. And then from baseball, I wrestled. Where my 7th grade year, I won no matches. My 8th grade year, I won a lot of matches, and I almost made it to the finals, right? In high school, I played basketball. And no, I was never tall, but I was very quick, and I was very shrewd in terms of managing the ball and managing the team and that kind of thing. I've been a leader from really the beginning of my life. I've been a point guard all my life, right? And you'll get it. I've been the point guard all my life. Even now, I'm the point guard of St. Paul. I'm orchestrating and leading the team, right? So I'll never forget one of my coaches. It's very hard on me about a mistake I made. And I went home and I told my mom I wanted to quit. And my dad heard me say, I want to quit. And my dad took me in the other room, sat me down and said, you are going back tomorrow to practice. And I said, I don't want to go back. I'm exhausted from losing, never seeming to impress this coach. And I, of course, didn't say it like that. And my dad said, if everybody in your life has to make you feel good, then son, you're going to be miserable all your life. Sometimes hard people are good for you. Wow. Sometimes hard people are good for you. Some people will never be great because they only want cheerleaders. They don't really want a coach. They only want cheerleaders. And I'm telling you now, right now, listen, I just got an email, today from my provost. And it was very direct. It wasn't just to me, but it was very direct. But it was amazing because he pushed us. And I took the challenge. And I'm committed to being absolutely the best I can be. I heard his heart. He's my leader in this. He's my academic affairs leader. I heard his heart, right? There has to be a place where you can hear the heart of the leader and not get offended and not get frustrated and not get upset and make up your mind. I'm growing. I'm being better. I'm going to excel, right? So you got to handle correction, right? And you got to be open to evaluation. But you got to also perfect positive self-talk. You got to also perfect positive self-talk. You got to know how to encourage yourself, how to tell yourself, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be successful at this, even if it requires that I have to totally reconstruct how I understand life. Even if I've got to shift my perspective, I'm going to be great at this. I'm going to be amazing at this. I'm going to achieve this. I close with this. Never miss a season to trust what God has for you. Never miss a season to trust what God has for you. I want to declare into your lives that you're shifting perspective so you can internally reconstruct, because you're going to begin to excel at new levels. I'm going to speak this. Uncommon favor needs soil by which to plant that seed. I've been pushing uncommon favor. Glory to God. Uncommon favor. All right. I want to challenge 20 people to do something today. I want to challenge 20 people to do something today. I don't normally do this, but I've got something big that God's working with me personally on. I'm getting ready with a young man by the name of Toy James to launch a mentoring group. And I'm serious about getting this done. Even with everything I'm doing, God has reminded me yesterday that I've got to do a better job of raising up the standard. And so I'm getting ready to launch a mentoring group in the spring. I need, I asked you early on and you did it. And we're going to be launching and dropping, and Ray's going to help make sure we do this. We're going to drop the new website that you all paid for. It is now ready. And I'll tell you this, when I became dean, a whole lot of stuff got put on hold. Now I'm starting to understand I got to bring some of that drink back. I need 25 people today to sow $27. I need 25 people to sow $27. But not to $E3. I want you to sow it to Bishop JEG. Sow it to Bishop JEG, right? I want you to sow the Bishop JEG. I need 25 people to sow $27. Let me tell you why. Because I'm believing God for the launching of an initiative that's going to literally change lives. God's getting ready to take all this stuff that I've been doing through E3. He's going to frame it in a mentoring group. And literally, God has shown me that I can raise up a generation of thought leaders like never before. And if you want to be a part of it, it's going to be women and men. So it's not going to be just men. It's going to be women and men. And I am so serious about this. I need 25 people to sow $27, right? 25 people. I promise you, and you all know I'm good soil. 25 people to sow $27. And I need you to do it really quick. And go to Bishop JEG. I need you to do it really quick, because I promise you what's getting ready to come out of this season, the spring of 22 is going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Listen, I love you guys. Thank y'all for jumping on. I am going to do E3 next week. I am going to do it next week. And my family and I are going to head out, but I am going to do it next week. And I promise you, you're going to be blessed by it. Thank you all for jumping on. Love you guys. Thank you, Ray. You're the man. Be blessed, everybody. And we'll see you